Yes or no?
They then went. David Gregory then interviewed the woman who wrote the book. I turned the TV off then. She had nothing to say. No. I was fascinated by Captain Morgan, who ultimately, I wrote this down. When David Gregory asked the question, "Are you saying then that Robert Wagner is responsible for Natlie Wood's death?" The guy said yes. Mm-hmm. That's all he said was yes. Now we are left to ponder. Yeah. Did he hit her? Did he
push
throw
her?
Well, you know.
Did she slip? I mean, it could have been an accident where he put his hands on her and she slipped. But he would still be responsible.
Here's the problem with this. Nobody in the world is going to believe a word this guy's saying.
No way.
It was amazing to me that you're trying to hawk a book. And this is your one shot at hawking this book on the Today Show. You get the number one shot on the Today Show, and somebody doesn't say, "Hey, buddy, Razor, come on, let's think about it." You know,
this is 2 days in a row I've seen people completely ruin the books that have been written about them. Shaquille O'Neal yesterday in one of the worst interviews I've ever seen in my life. And this guy, Captain Morgan, today, Life, Love, and Loot.
Now, that book's been out 2 years. Did you know that?
No, I just assumed it came out.
Oh, is that right?
That book's been out 2 years.
I thought it was a new book.
That's long enough for him to have shaved.
Yeah. Could we put a sweater on, maybe? I mean,
he just
caught on TV, pal.
I mean, to some degree, where is you say to yourself, I assign him no credibility. No credibility. He looks, as you say, like he's been in a drug-induced coma.
Even if he were credible, 30 years later, I mean, it's impossible to recreate that and come up with.
And I think Robert Wagner's story has been fairly consistent over 30 years, hasn't it? I mean, he's said the same. Now, that doesn't mean he's telling the truth, I know, but he said his story hasn't deviated at all.
Well, it hasn't had to, but it
no. But I mean,
however, I think at the time that marriage was in trouble, and Christopher Walken was, I think, on board, and he just had starred in a movie with
Natlie Wood,
and there was some sort of
and he
buzz
was
about that love triangle.
He was a beauty. Yeah. Christopher Walken was a pretty boy.
Walken? Is he around?
Maybe we have the benefit of having Mr. Walken. What happened?
Right, fellas. Jeannie, Tony, right. It was a tough night to remember. 3 decades ago, there was a lot of sambuca and yelling that night. And to be honest, my attorneys advised me to say nothing more than that. But she was a lovely kid, and my heart aches for the tragedy. And this bozo captain coming up, where's a razor for you, pal? We'd love to see you maybe prepare for television a little bit better.
Thank you. There is another fabulous